I just think it was the highest prio bot lane left, right? When you have Seraphine gone, when you have Karma gone, when you have Varus gone, it is the strongest bot lane available right now. Masu had an absolute banger game on Corki last week. They destroyed TL in that one. He had an individual advantage of something like 4K, maybe even higher than that. So was very, very far ahead. Of course, there's lots of other options. Yunara Lulu is kind of the obvious one if you want to scale alongside it. And I think that's probably what DSG will go for.
Absolutely.
But Yunara has not nearly been as successful, I think, this split in the LCS. People have been struggling to get through the laning phase. It has been getting destroyed in laning phases. I was looking at Yunara laning stats, and it is like averaging negative 2k gold at 15 or something absurd. Like almost every game, Yunara is getting blown out in the LCS. So when you pair a weaker laning phase duo with a weaker laning phase pair of champions, I am a little bit concerned how this 2v2 will go. But that being said, DSG has incredible scaling in their first three. If they can stay stable in the early game and just farm even, they're in a great spot.
Yeah, just checked Yunara 0-5 right now.
Yeah.
And look at the gold difference stats. It is absurd.
She has not been having a good time. Yeah, almost negative 1700.
That's not good.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it is only 5 games, but this champion is struggling. I mean, Lulu, Yunara, it's so much about the level 1, and teams are just getting way better about playing around it. You know, I think as people were less used to Yunara, she would often get these lethal tempo, full Q stacks, and be able to just pop heal and just run at you and get this monster trade that really just kind of papered over all her early game weaknesses. The Corki Namis now are getting so much better at just avoiding that and not allowing you to get that extended trade. They're just taking quick, punchy trades instead. And when that is the kind of trading pattern, Yunara Lulu gets smoked. Like, you are not good in short trades. You need the extended fight. And so that's the question. Can you play around that? Because if you overextend yourself trying to get it and you're just getting poked down, you can lose the laning phase at level 1.
And we also could see this as DSG kind of acquiescing to, okay, you know what?
Good word.
2v2 bot. They are going to push us in. I used to write things back in another life. But like you already pointed out, the scaling from this composition can be massive, especially pairing the Azir in with that as well.
Yeah.
On the other side, we do have the Mbessa, which can go to Gakkos. I'm actually going to assume it's going to be going to Griffin just because he does really like to put that in the jungle, but you can flex it either way. And they have banned out Renekton on their side as well.
Which makes me think it might go top. You know, of course it is a flex, but Renekton is the most common ban if you're trying to throw down a protection ban for it. They are going to ban out the LeBlanc, obviously trying to deal with any sort of answers to this Azir. Yone is still up and available though, and Quad is, you know, willing to play it. Annie would be interesting. This does give you some explosive engage. Obviously, they are a bit light on engage, so that may be the option. And now they're just going to be looking for either, you know, physical damage pairing in jungle, or they are still looking for that top laner, and we'll find out what Castle's going to play, and they can flex based off that.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're going to do. You can see that DSG was also kind of assuming that could go jungle as well by taking out the Mundo, which they did not want paired with the rest of that composition. It's definitely not going to be a Renata. I can see a Rumble in
Rumble,
the future. Yep.
Locked in top lane, expecting that into the Mbessa. So let's see what the jungle is going to be now for DSG. Kryra's champ pool and Griffin champ pool both. Very exciting. Kryra, I remember him in tier 2 for like Zac and Evelyn. It's going to be the Skarner. So
Skarner.
Kind of exciting.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting. I think Skarner is quite strong. I feel like they're going to go for a top lane pick here. I think this is a pretty tough matchup. So we'll see, you know, how flexible Gakkos is. If he just wants to play a tank into it, that's very common. Otherwise, you can go for things like Aurora, obviously, is a really common answer, or Galio. So those are all options, and I think Galio can be quite a strong pairing with the Mbessa. So we'll see what they want to go for. Nocturne being considered here, and this late, it's probably going to get locked in. So they are going to go Nocturne, so it will be Gakkos' job to try to withstand the storm in the top lane. We haven't talked much about him, but Castle was on one last week, completely smoked Impact in every single game in the laning phase, and is going to have an advantageous matchup up on that top side. But some pretty good dive now here drafted up for Fly.
And that's why I'm super curious. We set this up as like a big jungle matchup, right? I'm going to be, both of these junglers are kind of want to be a little bit stable early on, kind of farm up. But you do have potential for a really explosive top side, especially with the pushing lane of Rumble on the side of DSG. And then on the opposite side, this bot lane 2v2 that FlyQuest has been so strong with, and bringing out the Corki Nami into the Yunara Lulu.
Well, if you're Hambach, you invade with the Skarner. So
okay, you know what? You can do that.
you can do that.
Yes. And I mean, maybe Kryra will. not expecting it. Whenever I try to set up like, yeah, this jungler is gonna go in, they're gonna do some like really cool like cheese level 30. No, they never. They always let me down, except for Contract.
I've been hurt before.
Contracts never lets me down.
True.
With his early ganks.
I will say, I'm pretty interested to see how these team fights are actually played out. You know, a lot of times I feel like people think of Skarner as you got to dive in there and get, you know, your impale on the carries. Against this comp, I feel like you can just peel. I feel like when Gakkos and Griffin go in, you can just look to actually peel them off. Because when you're looking at Lulu and Skarner trying to get here onto the Yunara, if they are on even terms, and Bessa goes in, Ishtal's impact into the polymorph, that can be tough to deal with, and they're looking for this early move down for level 1.
Spotted out by the ward, so looks like DSG will not be caught unawares. They will notice a quad's down there, and he'll head back mid.
I do like to see teams trying this a little bit more now frequently in the LCS, especially with bot lane being so high prio and being as explosive as it is. If you can get that kind of early level 1 off,
level 1
it can look really good,
Yeah, Griffin's actually going to go for the Raptors right now. Kryra will spot him, and that means that it's going to be a smite fight for the big Raptor. Quad's even walking up on Call Me to make sure that the Azir can't immediately answer, so Griffin's just kind of asserting himself right now. Kryra getting lower in the health department, but again, it could come down to just who gets that smite off first. Kryra's getting real low right now, and Griffin gets the smite regardless. Disaster for Kryra.
Yeah, I think Griffin played that really intelligently. Instead of just full flipping it, I mean, it became a flip at the end. He's just hitting Skarner because he's going to win out in that 1v1 in that extended play. This is a lethal tempo champion against a champion with grasp. You just can't win with the amount of attack speed that they are getting. So utilizing the passive, just being in his face, Kryra tried to defend it, and as a result, gets pushed back, loses the smite, and now he's going to lose his whole top side. So it's going to be a tough spot.
And we talked about how not only Griffin and Kryra the next gen jungle of the LCS, right? But also how Griffin's been going up against really, really strong opponents. You can kind of see that learning from Blabber, from Inspired.
That's what he was visualizing.
Right? He's like, no, I am the invader.
You called it. You said he's visualizing the Raptors.
Yeah, exactly.
Junglers care about 2 things: Raptors and Scuttle Crabs.
Well, he's able to take the entire top side of the Rift, and obviously the jungle matchup is going to be a big talking point for us in this game. But if you caught our pre-game interview, Griffin had actually mentioned an in-house 2v2 pre-game during that interview. So we got footage of what went down there. Let's take a look.
I'm Nico, you're Caitlyn? Yeah.
Having fun.
Oh bro, Cheeto! God, bro, Cheeto Championski. How you missing every cube, mama?
Mama. Mama.
Bro, can you guys land a cube for your life? Bro, I couldn't focus. This guy boarded all of 3 bushes, bro. I couldn't focus. Bro. Stop trolling, bro. Stop trolling.
All right, well, we got at least a little peek at what was happening on there. I can tell you, behind them, watching that live, Griffin immediately blamed Gakkos. So as Kryra actually is able to smite away that Scuttle Crab, nice secure there. Just to give you an idea.
50-50 against the Nami bubble.
Yep, total 50-50. Hey, he earned that.
You never know.
He did.
But yeah, that 2v2, it's funny to see how teams warm up for games. Happy that we get some insight into that. But what was happening outside of that during that moment was just Kryra trying to get as much as he can in the jungle, but Griffin's right back on these Raptors the next spawn.
Yep, and he's already here to try to contest Kryra a level up, and with the push from Annie.
Yeah, Quad's walking up, and Call Me just TP'd back into the mid lane. So again, it's going to come down to who gets the smite, and again, it's Griffin.
Damn.
The battle of the next generation of junglers, and so far, Griffin winning out.
I mean, that is tough. You lose out on that smite twice in a row, so now he's taking away that camp twice. Griffin is power farming. Look at the CS differential. He has a lot of camps up already, and that graphic on the side. You know, this is the future of NA junglers. These are 2 really promising young rookies. Obviously, Yukino Cat over in Europe doing well also. But NA, I will say, you know, we have struggled more to find good solo laners and stuff than we have junglers. I think there has been a lot of strong NA junglers over the years. And these guys are here and are performing well early on in their careers. And they've got a lot to learn, and they have a really bright future. So it's exciting to see these 2 players coming up and battling against each other this early on.
Yeah, and I also really like that you can already tell that because he had to face, like we talked about FlyQuest's recent strength of schedule, right? Because he had to face Blabber, because he had to face Inspired, and then Jose Deodo last week. You can see that kind of knowledge being put into practice in this game, and he is now in a really good spot compared to Kryra.
I will say, counterpoint, is that we also saw him try and do a lot of the stuff against Inspired, but he was getting punished for more of those attempts.
Counterpoint.
Okay.
Inspired said he thought he was actually going for the right plays. It was just down to execution. Right?
Okay.
So while the plays did not work, this is one of the tough things about League, right? Because there's so many different things that can change within a game, right? Is you can go for a play, it can be totally the right play, and it doesn't work, and it fails horribly, and it loses you the game.
Sure.
You can also go for a play, it works, you win the game, and it was a horrible play to go for. It was really high variance. It was,
That's how most of my
you were
games go. Yeah.
coordinated.
but it worked, but it just happened to work, right? So it's understanding, when it is execution a failure in execution versus a failure in planning, and I think that's one of the things that can be really, really difficult. Sometimes you play a game, everything you do works, and you lose the game, and you're kind of like, well, what went wrong? Like, because, and especially as a jungler, there's so many different options, because you can go anywhere, that is a very difficult thing for a
Guess
rookie
where
to deal
we
with.
are again.
Yeah, you can go anywhere,
Level
but
6 versus
Griffin
level 4.
just wants
This
to go
is
for
not
these
going
Raptors.
to go well.
I mean, Calmy's still here, and Annie does not have the
Griffin got it
tippers,
again.
but yet again, Griffin just smites, and Kryra cries. That is a 26 CS
God.
differential in the jungle.
That is crazy. 3 times in a row he wins the smite fight, and he is now up 2 levels. I mean, yes, Kryra is going to hit 5, but it is still going to be like a full level and a half. He could even do Dragon off of this if he wants, because he has that winning bot lane.
Kryra's last. He's behind Lions and Cryogen in XP right now.
Support's OP. What can I say? Time to start building a Locket, You're a support now too, buddy.
Get the Vandal pipes, baby.
Yeah, we're going to see Griffin on that ward. He is basing. He's not going to go for the Dragon here early on. So Jett and Lions have given up some CS, but there is a wave at their tower, so they'll even that up a little bit. But their answer has basically been, you know what, we're not even going to try to win the level 1. We haven't talked about it much, but I was watching it a little bit off screen. And they were basically just saying, we're going to let you have push. We're not going to take a lot of trades here, and just trying to kind of lose gracefully, which I think they've done well so far in that 2v2.
We see Griffin going for a potential invade. He pinged this out a while ago and is heading up to potentially chase Kryra off this red.
Oh, that's just
man.
filthy. Another smite. So that is now 4 camps that Griffin has smite
This
stolen.
one he had the upgraded smite, so this one was not a fair fight because he is that far ahead. Kryra doesn't have the upgraded smite yet.
And I just love how far he's pushing this, right? Like, that was pinged out pretty much as he was even heading up that side of the map. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. Really, really trying to punish Kryra as much as possible with these repeat invades.
Yeah, just a brutal start here for the Skarner player. But, I mean, at least you can say you're kind of the tank. Like, you can maybe just build tanky and come back in the late game anyway. I'm trying to cope. It's the 2v2 in the bot lane right now. Cryogen uses heal. Masu uses the barrier. Heal traded on DSG's side to look for that Yanara power spike you're talking about, Azael. They found the angle and are at least able to trade up in summoner spells.
Yep, they are up, but they are down experience. This is level 6 Nami now, and they have to be careful. Because Sajed, yes, he did win out in that trade, but Nami heals you back to full. Lulu does not. Kryra's in the area, though, and has gotten 6. So if he can make a gank happen, this will do a lot to alleviate all of the early game troubles.
He's not even going to Ixel's impact. Now he will go for it as Cryogen throws out the tidal wave, plus the Aqua Prison. Double stun onto Kryra, but now Polymorph onto Cryogen. The Impale will go wide. Flash over the Arc of Ruin, and FlyQuest outplayed DSG in the 2v3.
Cryogen just smurfed that. The sidestep on the Impale, the flash there on the W from Sajed, the bubble on Skarner as he's coming in. Everything was done perfectly. I thought Masu would get away for sure, but I thought Cryogen was probably dead to rights. And he just plays that beautifully. And now you're going to get even further behind. That was the opportunity for Kryra to get back into the game here. And instead, he gets nothing, uses the ult, it whiffs, and on the top side, Griffin gets all 3 grubs, another scuttle, and is going to be continuing to build this advantage.
Yeah, and you'd have to imagine that they can probably rotate down to Drake whenever they want to. There's a world where if that gank potentially goes off, they then are able to rotate down and take this first dragon of the game. But yeah.
Now, I think that this is mostly a cover because Quad has Tibbers, and we have not seen Griffin use the Paranoia yet. So I imagine that Kryra is just saying in case, but we also see on our vision, Griffin's just farming the top camps right now. As Calmy actually will go for the play, shuffle onto Quad, flash out, dodging the Ixel's impact. And Gryra will just throw the rock at him. Quad will trade some damage back, but he gets out of there using the Summoner spell.
Yeah, and they do get Flash, so now it's up to whether they'll be able to punish that going forward, right? Especially with Calmy still having his.
Yeah, and that's the play they were looking for. I mean, you're basically trying to mimic what we see with Poppy Anivia or Poppy Azir, because you can Ishtal's impact into the Emperor's Divide. You can stun into that wall, so that's why he's just kind of trailing him there. Sure. Of course, you know, if the Nocturne comes, then you are providing coverage, but Cryra is basically in this spot where he is way behind, he farms more slowly, and all you can do to get back into this game is to have some successful ganks. So you try to keep as many camps up as you can, but he needs to focus on, you know, making some of these ganks happen, performing in the team fights, because he is going to be very far behind. You know, Griffin is going to be quite powerful for these coming dragons, but thankfully for Cryra, FlyQuest has not taken any early dragons whatsoever. Yeah. So, you know, he's just been focused on keeping up the farm, so it's not like they have to worry about a fast soul. And I do think that's a mistake from FlyQuest when you're looking over at the other side and you're seeing Skarner, or you're seeing Azir, Yunara, Lulu, a lot of powerful scaling on that side.
Yeah, they are going to go for it now off of that last bot lane push, but there were a few other windows for them to be able to get in and grab that, especially with the bot lane trading that's been going on in this 2v2. So yeah, this is a pretty late Drake take for FlyQuest, although they still do have all of the objectives with the 3 grubs taken earlier, and now that Drake.
I kind of imagined Griffin was going to go for the experimental Hexplate first before Dragon, but he still picks up the Dragon back, now picks up the completed item, so he is just so far ahead. 994 individual gold lead.
Still haven't seen him use a single ult though, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's been super active with it. Something I really wanted to track throughout this series, though it hasn't been super action-packed in the bot lane in this one, is the bot lane 2v2 kills. That is bot lane 2v2 kills this year. FlyQuest is now up to 10 after getting a bunch last week. They really have been so dominant in the 2v2. I think there's arguments for, you know, which is the best 2v2 lane overall, because you can count about team fighting and how you're playing the rest of the game. But I think in the isolated laning phase, they have been the best of anyone in the league. And Sajed and Lions have managed to withstand that. Nice
Ooh, another attempt right there, but Quad's able to sidestep the Emperor's Divide, and in comes the Paranoia, the first use of the ultimate. But Lions backing up Calmy, Cryogen roams as well. First blood to Griffin.
Yep, first ult we see used, first blood, really late first blood, especially considering what we were expecting out of these two teams, even with the jungle picks, which we knew they'd probably end up farming. Cryogen is also just having a really, really strong Nami game thus far. I liked his matching roam, and that ended up being a difference maker.
It really did, and the flash from Griffin, he was able to keep the Fear Tether in. Obviously, this all starts because Calmy is looking to kill Quad with that missing flash, but Griffin is around. Cryogen knows that Lions has a roam timer, so he's moving over as well. And for a moment there, it did look like Calmy might get away, that he might have been able to, you know, break that tether with the Fear, with the wild growth coming out from Lions, but with Cryogen on that roam that Emily called out, it just did not work out at the end of the day. And now I'm also getting very close to that first item. We'll have the Triforce completed on the next base, very likely. And that is going to be a really big spike here, as everyone has the role quest complete now except for Cryra.
And I gotta say, again, it's not just now the efficient jungle pathing from Griffin, all these invades taking away camps. He also gets first blood. So this has just ballooned his gold lead even further than what it was originally. We were looking for that first ult as the Aqua Prison will land on Sajed. He's fine. But that was a pretty impactful first ultimate, all things considered. It
really was. You know, it was the missing flash from Quad. He had a great sidestep on that Emperor's Divide. And then having the backup there to turn it around. Every time, you know, you look for a play as DSG when you are behind and it does not work out. Griffin is not doing anything but just the most efficient clears possible. And you can see that Quad right now is roaming up to top side. They want to look for a play potentially on Gakgos, you know, trying to duo up with him to take out Castle. So we'll see if Castle does show himself, because Annie is just out of fog, but there's question mark pings in mid. They know Annie should be back by now. This is a little bit weird, but now they showed Corky going towards mid, so maybe he's not going to expect this.
Yeah, and their Quad roaming all the way from the top brush. Castle caught unawares. will get the wave with the equalizer, but Quad with the kill.
Yeah, and that was really nice and sneaky from Quad. Even when they were pinging it out, he went all the way around the kind of brush sticking out, right? So in the little alcove there to stay out of vision. Really nice setup and execution from Fly.
And this is a little thing, but I really think that Castle would have backed off more had they not seen Masu going mid, because they're saying someone should be answering this mid lane. This is actually really weird. But then you see Corki moving through the jungle towards mid, and you're like, oh, Annie's going bot.
Sure.
Because Masu's coming here. That's why someone isn't here yet in mid lane. So Castle then doesn't really suspect that someone's missing. Now it seems normal. It just seems like Annie's going bot. So that little thing, that ward, I think kind of worked against DSG in that instance where had they not seen Masu going mid, they'd be like, okay, Annie's missing. We got to be careful.
And I love moments like that because it gives us an insight into the player's potential mindset. And it also equals out FlyQuest a little bit in the top lane because Castle was the one that had a small lead for DSG.
Yeah, I was going to say Castle is back to having a small lead, but that was the one kind of lane of pressure that we were talking about from Disguise that they would have. So really good recognition of Quad to be able to go up there and make that play, but then also Gakkos being able to come back down to the bot lane and get a bunch of gold onto himself without getting pushed in initially. That's really, really important, and he should be stronger for it in the next fight.
Quad was the one that got the kill, and now he's grouped up again. Flash Tibbers with the paranoia. Kryra melts in the river as the TP completes from Castle. In comes the Rumble, drops Equalizer again, but just doesn't have enough damage. Gakkos buys space for the rest of FlyQuest, pushes away Sajed, who flashes over the public execution. Flash follow from Masu. Call me with the Emperor's Divide to try and give Sajed the space, but he will go down, and that is 4 kills to FlyQuest.
Yeah, FlyQuest are just now absolutely running over this game. Really, really nice CC chains coming in. That poor Rumble teleporting into all of FlyQuest just a little too late as we take a look at the fight.
I actually like the target selection here. They don't need to try to overextend themselves. If you dive too far in onto this Azir, he has the Emperor's Divide. They realize Skarner is so far behind, just one-shot the Skarner at the start of the fight. That's completely fine. And then you have Gakkos on the side who's kind of just zoning out Sajed, pushing him back while they kill off those frontliners. Skarner dies instantly. Castle arrives, can't really do anything. He's sectioned out. And then eventually Masu gets in. They're even able to donate him that kill.
Great flash from Gakkos there as well, getting over the Emperor's Divide. And that TP seemed like nice at the very beginning. Actually, we'll get back to that as Masu big damage onto Sajed right there. He channeled the TP right as the paranoia happened. So that's one of those ones where it's like, if you wait till too late, you can't TP anymore. Yeah. So he's probably thinking, oh, the Skarner's going to live long enough. That was not the case.
Yeah, no, I mean, the other thing there is, right, like, the Skarner is behind. Kryra dies so quickly. It is really good team fight targeting, as Isaac already pointed out. And FlyQuest are taking a lot off of the map here. They're going to be able to get that Drake. They're going to be able to put pressure potentially on this mid lane turret.
Nice from Call Me to actually just barely get out of range of Quad's Tibbers right there. So Tibber's not going to find the stun. Kryra's now hanging out. Quad's going to spot him as Cryogen actually walks up. They have TP on Gakkos if they want to go for something crazy right now, but Kryra will just Ixil's Impact over the wall, gets hit by the Aqua Prison, and is just getting harassed by the Nami and is fine.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. If he overstayed, though, Masu was moving. So if they try to force a fight, Masu was going to be there and be ready. And, of course, Gakkos is down on that bot side. Neither of them have a TP, so it's not like you can get outnumbered.
Oh, Masu just Valkyrie over the wall. Big chunk onto Lions, who use the Wild Growth. If that last rocket hits, you probably go down. So things not looking great for Disguise, but things looking fantastic for FlyQuest. They have played immaculately in this early game.
I mean, Griffin is looking inspired-esque with the farm. He is power farming. He's up at 10 CS per minute as a jungler. He's got more than his top laner. He's got almost the same as the AD carry. It's kind of ridiculous how much farm he has picked up. And with those kills he's gotten, he's in a great spot.
Another play now comes in. Flash from Call Me to look for the Emperor's Divide. The Impale's there, but Griffin was in the neighborhood already, and FlyQuest able to read the play, turn it back around. It's a kill to them. DSG, they keep looking for these little skirmishes, these little engages, and FlyQuest are always ready to answer.
I mean, Griffin is just so strong. He's level 13. He's the same level as the Soul Laners on the other side, and he's got 2 completed items. It is hard to deal with this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, again, as DSG, what do you gonna do, right?
Go
like
next.
you are gonna try. You are gonna try to make something happen, hopefully. But I mean, FlyQuest, you pointed out like Griffin's power farming. They've also just wiped off every single objective off the map, right?
Yeah.
Like DSG have yet
This
to
is a perfect
get
game.
any sort of objective thus far. I wasn't gonna say it. Because as soon as you say that, then it gets ruined. It's
I'm not
so hard to get.
superstitious. I'm just going to
I
say
am
it.
incredibly superstitious.
It's
I'm on Emily's side
It is
here, for the
currently a
record.
perfect game. I can say it. That is true.
I mean, we're not.
Doesn't mean they're going to finish.
We're not contesting
I
that you
have to
can
exact
say it.
some sort of control that I know I don't have, but I need to pretend that I have.
I mean, a perfect game is so hard to get these days because
It is.
usually you get a grub or something.
Yeah.
Or just a kill as
Yeah.
like they're sieging
I
the
mean, they're looking
Nexus,
for
right?
another one right now, but yet again, public execution paranoia is just too much. FlyQuest were able to kite back, and DSG just cannot find that angle in. I think DSG are on Emily's side here. They're hoping that Azale just cursed FlyQuest because they need to find
I don't
some
think I cursed
magic.
them for a loss. At best, on the DSG side, I cursed them for a death, you know?
Okay,
Yeah.
true.
You definitely don't want the perfect
Masu
game.
going forward, and there it is! Shut down over to Castle. You need it? Solo laner stepping up. That's flash out of Cryogen as Calmy looks for the shuffle. Quad will land the stun onto Calmy, and DSG, they'll at least get one.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to
It
get a
is,
perfect game.
yeah.
If you really want to get a kill, you can full send it on a Nami or just get some sort of garbage kill. In this case, it was on Masu, who didn't have his flash, so getting a little bit too aggressive, they are able to punish that, and that is going to stop FlyQuest from doing Baron in that moment. But FlyQuest in full control here. It's Hextech Soul to make things worse. That is going to be on the table. Of course, not the fastest Soul by any means because they took that first dragon quite late. It was a slow game. But they are 7K up, 2 dragons they're named, all 3 grubs. They are running things, and they still have the Herald in pocket for Griffin.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing of that kill actually was not breaking the perfect game, but like you said, stopping the Baron from being taken, right? Because if this team gets a Baron that early, their siege potential is still really, really good with the Corki in such a strong position as it is right now. As you can see, they are kind of trying to move up onto that side, keep their vision line up there, push out that top side wave, but they also have great control over the bot side of the map too, and are going to be ramming this Herald into mid-tier 2 if
It actually got stopped by the wave. So
That was a
there
horrible
we
Herald.
go.
Yeah.
That was not.
The Herald's, every Herald dropped in base is a crime.
Yeah.
Every time you drop a Herald in base, an angel loses
Cryo's
wings.
looking for a potential engage here, but in comes the Paranoia again, and he just wasn't in range for the Impale. It's spell shielded by Griffin. Quad on a killing spree. Finds the engage on the Sajet as well. And even topside's falling apart. FlyQuest just getting kills everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't even see what was happening on the top side because I was too distracted by that really nice flash follow-up from Quad's Annie, right? To get that little slam dunk kill on the top of that. FlyQuest now immediately on the Baron. But yeah, Gakko's just getting a slick 1v1 kill up on the top side of the map. I'm actually going to go into game and see what happened there.
It also gets them the Baron, and I'm going to remind you that that was Castle that was the one kind of holding the line. Castle, the one that got the shutdown on Amasu, the one kill to disguise name. And he's still dying solo to Gakko's under turret. But we haven't seen exactly how it started, so maybe there was something funky. If we get a replay, we can review it. But here's the replay up the mid lane. Again, tough for DSG, but FlyQuest, they are just playing this so well.
Yeah, I really liked that flash follow-up from Quad. I also think, here we see that top side kill. Looks pretty standard. Castle doesn't drop the equalizer.
Oh,
Yeah, public
beautiful.
execution, and then is able to drop the equalizer on the back half of it, but it doesn't do anything at
I
that point.
really like how Gakko's played that. He actually kited back into the brush and uses the ult from brush there. He just caught Castle on that angle and is able to finish him off. So really well played.
You don't get to see the animation. Oh my goodness.
There goes half of the
I
Sajet
think
health.
he's gonna regret that decision, as this is not Dragon's Soul, it is Soul Point, but it might as well be Soul with the current lead that we see in the game. It's rare that you see the 9K hit at the 23.5-minute mark. DSG, I think, wisely are going to decide this is not our time to go for the fight.
Yeah.
In fact, I think this is the time that we start having a conversation about what went wrong and how do we fix it for game 2, because DSG, that's, I think, where their eyes need to be set.
I will say, I mean, a lot of this felt like it was based around jungle and what happened to Kryra. You know, you're going for a jungler that is going to lose the early 1v1 matchup. and you have an Azir mid lane that can't really help you with the invade. I mean, Azir can walk over and start auto-attacking him, but like you're level 1, all you can do is place your soldiers. You can't even reposition them. So it is very, very difficult. You know, once that went so bad, they were very far on the back foot. And beyond that, it's like you picked a full scaling comp and you got behind early. It's just tough.
And now we might have another engage. That was more of a defensive paranoia from Griffin as the TP again comes in from Castle. He's so fast on these. It's really impressive when you're able to get 2 in a row now before these paranoias. But unfortunately, FlyQuest did not actually pull the trigger on it, so basically a wasted TP. Even Gakkos is going to TP bot side now.
I was going to say what that does is it doesn't allow him to kind of respond to this growing push in the bot lane where Gakkos is able to TP in, but they're going for a mid lane fight.
Idle wait for the engage, sidestep by everybody. Cryer actually flashes back into it just to get away from the tether of Griffin. Masu slowed down, slightly chunked as Calmy will look for the flash engage. Masu with the flash answer, and now FlyQuest unleashed. Gakkos with a public execution. Calmy's down. Sajed trying to kite back, but as Lulu went right, he went left. Griffin with that kill, but Sajed almost turns it. Quad also on a rampage, and this looks like the victory march for FlyQuest. They played a clean game so far, and now they can start breaking the base.
Beautifully played there by Masu, flashing the flash ult from Calmy. It's the exact same thing he did last week against Squid when they were playing against TL on that Corki. So really well team fought. This is a dominant game 1.
It's Cryer and Lions trying to defend here for the final push. The Baron did expire, so actually, let's see if FlyQuest want to go for the game end. Just under 26 minutes. They actually back off. Yeah, I mean, they don't have the Baron, so I guess they're a little worried about the 1 second for Calmy to come up. Gakkos actually gets stopped on the retreat. Impale comes in. Now paranoia from Griffin, but he's too low to fully send it. Polymorph onto Gakkos. Sped up by the Nami, and now Calmy comes in with the slows. Another tidal wave, and FlyQuest, they get their top laner out of there. Operation Save Gakkos complete.
They're going to keep chasing, though. They have no recourse. They want to try to stop them from basing. They're hoping they can get something, but doesn't look like they will be able to get in. DSG just has no damage at all at this point. They're so far behind in every single roll. And even this Azir, you know, you're going for the Rocket Belt.
Oh, Masu's getting in there. Quad used his own Rocket Belt to get the stun onto Sajed. And Masu just does so much damage right now. A double kill to the Corki. As FlyQuest, it just feels like they can do no wrong. Like, this is just a mountain of a gold lead.
Yeah, and they're going mid, so now they are going to try to end the game here, very likely. They're pushing through bot a little, but, I mean, you're walking down mid with the inhib already down, so the only reason to do that is if you are trying to end the game, and they do have that 2-man advantage right now.
And DSG with only 3 to defend are going to buy time for Sajed to respawn. 10 seconds. The squad looks for another one. Public execution goes wide. Paranoia under the turret, but they already got 1. They're going to get 2. FlyQuest execute the dive. It is traded back as Castle actually finds 2 for himself. And FlyQuest, it looks like they're going to have to wait for another wave. Sajed has respawned. He's just going to run straight at Gakkos and Masu. And the game will continue.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an overextension there, to say the least. I mean, they're just trying to barrel it down mid lane instead of actually sealing the deal by taking additional hits.
I mean, he's still just not that tanky. He's trying to buy space for the team. Does land the Impale, but it's only onto Gakkos. The Ambessa pretty strong. She's looking to trade 1, but does not get it. Another shutdown to Castle. Make it 2. Castle with a massive injection of gold in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, now he is 1.3K up over Gakkos.
So you're saying there's a chance?
We're seeing a little bit of messiness, closing this
Okay,
out.
let's refocus. Next play. They can pull Baron, or top in 8.
Yeah, they need to
Let's
log back
refocus.
in. I mean, they realize it. They're super trolling trying to end through mid like that. There's just not really any reason to go for it when you could just guarantee take the inhibitors and then play for Soul.
But the sick combo, they landed the double bubble
They did.
off of turning off the lights.
They're
it
having a
looked
little
so
too much fun.
good initially.
This went from almost perfect game to we're getting a little fast and loose. We're giving over some kills.
I was gonna poke at Masu saying the only one with a death on FlyQuest, but no, a couple others joined it now.
And whoever has Castle on their fantasy is saying thank you, FlyQuest, for not just ending this cleanly, because Castle's giving you some fantasy points. I personally have Sajed on my fantasy team, so I would like FlyQuest to continue trolling.
That's minus 4 points right there.
Get some kills on this Yunara, please.
I got Griffin.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the current
I have Griffin
state of
as well.
things.
I don't have any fantasy
I too am
room
happy.
interests.
FlyQuest don't have control over the approach of the Dragon right now, and this time around, Griffin's the one that's chunked at the start. He has the GA, so FlyQuest can still look to re-engage as Call Me actually gets chunked out. Masu just does so much damage right now. The Corki almost just solo winning that fight. Now the Exalt's Impact back in on the Griffin, but the flank from Gakkos gets onto the carries. It's all down to Sajed to try his best. But Masu with a triple kill will end the chances. A quadra kill. FlyQuest gave him the pentakill to Masu. FlyQuest with the ace.
As soon as I saw the triple coming in, I was like, you guys got to give it to him, right? Like he's been having a sick game.
Penta. Holy!
I guess it was Cryogen alone. Cryogen the homie.
Where's the Masu pop
Masu
off?
the carry. GG, FlyQuest take game 1. You could. Also, Azale, for the record, this was something we talked about when I was over in the LEC for the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
Because they don't have a bald caster, and there's 2 of us here.
Yeah, you were just a token bald caster there.
One of us
We
has-
love you for who you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, first of all.
They just wanted you for your bald head.
But second of
You're
all,
just checking a box for them.
one of us has to grow our hair out. That's what was consensus.
good luck.
Is that
Okay,
one of
good
us
luck
has
with
to
that.
choose to,
Yeah, enjoy.
to go for
Wow.
it. Yeah, that's me.
he's already nominating
That's
you.
you.
Well, I think that we can make some bet around this. Is what I'm planting the seed right now.
No.
for
Wait,
future
you're
payoff.
in on the clown bet, right?
I am in on the cloud
Nice.
bet, and
Yeah.
I'm currently second to last place in the fantasy.
I'm
Not
currently
last.
in
Who's
first.
Not last is Kobe.
Kobe. Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, that might have been adjusted because I know that his points were glitched and he was talking about it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe I am in last.
So I think it's actually you.
There's a
I
good
think
chance.
that's
Kobe's
actually
paying
correct.
them off to jack his points up. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah, that is what I'm telling you right
Yeah.
there.
You
All
brought
right.
some Toblerone back. Maybe you can bribe them with your Toblerone.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think that's all gone by this point.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
that's too bad.
'cause I
I
left the meeting
haven't
before
gone through
everyone else.
mine. I stole one from
You
the
did?
meeting. Yeah,
Nice.
that no one else was gonna take home, and I took it home and it's still not
I'm
finished.
happy it's getting
As we see Rise locked in, DSG once again going for their mid lane pick.
Nivea.
Initially, Anivia is up. Pantheon locked in though for Fly, and then Bard immediately following.
So when I
globals.
Yeah. When I see the Bard, I immediately think, again, the pairings. Like, what's the support and AD carry pairing? Everything's about that in the meta right now. I think Caitlyn, typically, when I see the
You
Bard.
can do Ezreal. You
Yeah.
can do a lot of stuff. I
Okay,
think.
sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, talking about pairings, I think support jungle synergy is actually like super important right
Yeah.
now. That was the big kind of takeaway I got from first stand and watching BLG kind of iterate on the global potential that they had played with in LPL. We already see that coming through, but
Oh,
now
they
we're
stole
gonna
the
see the
Anivia.
Anivia going through. Speaking of BLG, I assume it's either
Anivia
gonna be
support?
or top.
I was gonna say, place
it
your
can
bets. Which
also
one?
go top.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can flex. I mean, the thing is, doing blind Anivia top doesn't really make sense. Obviously,
Nope.
you could flex it if there's a bad matchup up there, or if there is a good matchup. But that is kind of interesting because I think they were saying, oh, hey, maybe you want to go Anivia on 3. Like, we'll actually deny this. That is clever, and it is going to be the Caitlyn that you called out, so they are going to be grabbing that. I always wonder with champions like this, everyone associated Bard with Busio, right?
Yeah.
And he was one of, if not, the best Bard in the West, right? And so I always wonder, for someone like Cryogen, do you feel a little bit of pressure now? It's like
I'm in his
Masu's
seat.
X
Yeah.
He
was
still
really
feels
good.
the aura from the mouse.
Masu's X was really good on Bard, so you have to live up to that,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Busio bicep curled. I have the bicep curl now.
Yeah,
Get the
I mean,
guns
Busio
bigger.
did say at the end of LEC he's rooting for FlyQuest, so because he was
Yeah.
on their post-game lobby
I would hope
interview.
so.
Yeah.
Picked up a win.
He's friends with a lot of these guys, so it definitely makes sense.
It's not a lovers to enemies arc for Busio. there.
Lovers to lovers,
Lovers
far.
to lovers to long distance.
long
Yeah.
distance lovers.
Friends.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, this fanfic's getting a little off the rails here.
Why are you always writing fanfic on Cass?
Well,
I think
it's happened
like,
twice,
What is
so
this?
I don't
not
think it has to be a
always.
fanfic. What's wrong with some bro love, They're just homies.
well, I feel like
You
the
can love your
line
bros.
between
you can write
fanfic
a
and
fan fiction about being friends.
yeah,
Okay.
true, and the line between those two things is much blurrier.
Someone
than
wrote a
you
fan
expect.
fiction about me and my teammates when I was playing for a while.
Oh.
A few, and they were disturbing. Let
Yeah?
me tell you, not good fanfics to read.
Is there any
I
chance?
don't wanna
Where
know.
would one find these?
I don't want to know. Please stop.
For strictly
I do
educational
not
purposes.
want to know this at all.
People used to copy excerpts, and I just get messages with just
Oh, no.
that for like a year
Yeah?
after. Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay, all right. Well,
So I don't wish that on.
Anyway,
on
as
now that we
see-
all have that in our minds.
FlyQuest has taken out 2 jungle options for Disguise. No, they do not want to. We do not want to see the Mundo in here. So the thing I'm most curious about DSG is because technically, like theoretically, we're kind of assuming this Anivia is going bot. She can, however, go top. She can also be flexed into mid if they want to send the Ryze top in very specific matchups. As we see the Hui coming out for quad, which is kind of something he naturally defaults to, I think, like slightly below his usual mage picks.
And I think it has really good zone control against two kind of like mid-range mages in the Ryze as well as the Anivia. You have to walk through this potential snare. I think that can be difficult. It is going to be the Jace coming out, and we know now that it is Anivia support. I really worry for how the 2v2 is going to go. Yes, Ezreal has range, but you're playing against Bard and Caitlyn, two really strong laners. Anivia, I think, can be quite strong into melee supports, but to me, it's always seemed very weak into, you know, long-range supports. So I kind of wonder how this is going to go, and Kryra, considering the volley, but I don't want to get baited by this. It's probably just kind of a
I actually have
hover.
a theory. Kryra's just hovering it to bait Griffin because he knows that Griffin likes the pick as well.
Ooh, okay, so Nefiria is something we haven't seen played as much here. However, I have seen it. We've talked at length. I know you and Isaac were talking about this off camera. I know they were talking on CAF yesterday with how prevalent AD junglers are, and like when you go through the usual Sundered Sky junglers, where are you going to go? I actually think Nefiria is something that could have been picked in a few LCS drafts thus far. She can be really strong. I just saw Shun play her last night on VLG. Had a great game.
Was
but
it
then
the hot dog skin?
The Yorick locked in for Gakkos on the other side.
Talking about Spirit of Busio, Spirit of Whippo as well. Gakkos pulling out the Yorick here for FlyQuest. This kind of feels like old school FlyQuest right now. You can change the players, you can't change the game.
I mean, it's really funny to me because for years I talked to pros about this matchup, and I think it's actually been super strong into Jace for a long time. But people are always like, that's just, you know, you can't actually play that in pro. It's not good in pro. People are just, you know, too good at dodging, too good at... But now it's actually getting pretty popular. It's already been played a couple times this split in the LCS. Globally, more and more players. You know, it's pretty popular in the LPL for quite a while. So I do think it's actually just a really good winning matchup. It is hard for Jace. You can lose it early. You can get destroyed late. It is a very, very difficult matchup for Jace. The only way to get out of the cage is to use To the Skies, which is offensive. It doesn't allow you to get away. It's really all about, can Jace dodge the Morning Mist, the Yorick E? If you can dodge that consistently, then Yorick's not going to have a good time. That's basically every Yorick matchup in existence. But it is quite strong. If you ever try to trade in melee form, you're going to get caged in. It's almost a guaranteed hit with the Morning Mist, and then you're going to lose that fight to the Ghouls plus the Yorick. So I like the pick here. And in general, I really like FlyQuest draft because you also have this split-pushing top laner with the global support of a Bard and a Pantheon, which makes it so hard for Castle.
And on top of that, we haven't even talked about the bot lane 2v2 because I do think the biggest difference, as we were alluding to pre-game one, is this super strong 2v2 bot lane that's been coming out of Cryogen and Masu. And this Caitlyn is something that if they get control of that bot side, we see Griffin. Yeah,
a new game, same story here, as Griffin is once again just walking up to Kryra towards the Raptors. He will actually back up this time, so he's not going to fully commit to it.
Yeah, but we didn't see that same explosiveness out of the bot lane necessarily until we got to mid-game skirmishes and team fights where Masu really started to pop off once he had itemization. However, this Caitlyn can absolutely just take over the bot side to the point where if they do get pushed early on here, we might see some trickery or a bot side invade coming out of Griffin if he wants it.
What was that capybara in the bathtub that Call Me just threw up
Oh,
there?
yeah,
Did anyone else see that? I haven't seen that emo yet.
That's been out there for a while. I thought APA was spamming that before.
I'm notoriously emote blind, Emily, so I'm actually surprised
you?
I even noticed that one, but it was cute. I liked it.
It is a good one. Fun fact, this is the first ever Anivia support in LCS history. So first time it has ever come out, which is definitely very cool. Obviously, famously, On
really started something.
He did.
When he brought it out in LPL playoffs, I was like, ooh, and then he actually did really well.
Yeah, so a lot of NA viewers, if you only watch LCS, this will be brand new, but we have seen it around, so expectation. When I see this against the Bard specifically, a lot of Bard, what he tries to do when he is looking to get aggressive is look for the angles through the minions to land the Cosmic Binding. Anivia's Frostbite is able to do the same and just kind of go over the minions. So in a way, Lions is actually able to kind of counter what the Bard's trying to do if the Bard's playing aggressive in lane.
Yeah, this is a quote from Masu on Cryogen, which I thought was pretty interesting. He's talking about how Busio was a very empty canvas. He was kind of just down to do whatever. Anytime someone was suggesting things, he would try it. And he's saying Cryogen is basically the same thing. He's open-minded, but he is a bit more opinionated. This was an interview with Tadeki. He goes on to talk about how
And right now, Masu doesn't have his support with
the
the Frostbite lands! First blood for Lions!
Nicely played there by Lions. The predict on the flash catches Masu as Cryogen was on that base, and Masu wanted to stay around and gets punished, but yeah, just talking, it's a cool interview. Talks a bit about how Cryogen is similar in how he is down to just try stuff. And he also is a bit more opinionated, though. Like he has his own thoughts on the game where, he is more confident to kind of deliver those. So it's definitely been a treat to watch them as a duo. I think a lot of people were really concerned that, with the loss of both Busio and Inspired, who were arguably like the two best players in the West kind of last year overall, that this team would really fall off and that the 2v2 bot lane would not look good, that it would take them a long time to get up to speed. They have been working really, really well, though, of course, bad start to this one.
Yeah,
a little bit of a rough start from that 2v2. It does look like, however, Griffin is going to be looking topside this game.
Castle has the flash available, gets slowed by the Yorick E, and is just looking to take down the wave, not going to attempt to save his own life, and FlyQuest will get the kill onto Griffin.
Yeah, really nice recognition from Griffin that he could go in for that wraparound gank, given where the wave was. This is, I assume, the Anivia replay. So yeah, Masu just sticks around a little bit too long. Wall goes down. This is a really nice flash predict from Lions to hit that stun just within range to get that kill.
As complimentary as I've been at Masu, though, I have to be a bit critical. He was kind of trolling there. You're very far up without your support, and you're not paying attention to level timings.
Yep.
So Jet and Lions both hit level 3 there. Masu is still level 2, right? So, should have been paying more attention to where the experience was at, and was pushed up a bit too far, ends up losing both sums, and does get taken down. And this is a lane that they should be winning early.
And
so
another Flash Frost stun onto Masu. Sajed getting aggressive, hit by the Electrocute. Cryogen bopping him with the autos, and Sajed not able to find the kill that time around.
Yeah, they were nervous that Cryo would be behind them. Otherwise, I think they could have chased in and probably gotten that kill. Cryogen still had his flash, and Sajed did not. So I think he could have probably flash followed and actually gotten the kill. But paying respect to the fact that if Cryo is there and you die again, it is a bit of a disaster.
Yeah,
but end of the day, the bot lane has been very aggressive this time around. Now Kryra back into the mid lane here as Quad throws out the ult onto Call Me. Not enough damage and has to flash as Kryra was looking mid.
Yeah, really nice little gank from Kryra to get that flash out. Once again, we'll see if they are able to punish it. In last game, they weren't really in a great position, even when they did try for that mid lane flash punish, right, which then FlyQuest were able to respond to. But without that same kind of over-invade from the jungle coming out. DSG are in a really nice spot thus far in this game, especially in this bot lane 2v2, which we thought would go a lot differently.
Yeah, especially compared to that last game, like you were mentioning here. It's not been this hyper-invading style from Griffin. The bot lane from DSG is ahead right now with that kill on Lions, who, as the Anivia will, you like gold early on the support Anivia if you're going to be going for AP items early. As Kryra actually jumping over the wall onto Griffin right now, looking for the Scuttle Crab fight. Cryogen lands a stun on the Lions, but Griffin trying to get out of there as Call Me comes in with the Realm Warp. Magical Journey gets support out of there. Masu just walks by, and Call Me with the Ghost Pop.
They want to dive, and Griffin needs to get back over here because Griffin actually walked out the other way, so his bot lane is split, but Griffin is trying to get back here and defend.
They're not going to have a big wave. It's only 3 ranged minions, and now Griffin does show up, so it looks like DSG are not going to force it. They will actually back off. Lions takes a turret shot. Uses the heal summoner spell as well, so DSG not quite finding the angle.
Yeah, I think Lions taking that turret shot at the very end there was kind of the nail in the coffin for that dive. And also Griffin just being able to get back into position after his initial pathing from that second Scuttle fight.
And they get the flash off Griffin with that move, but it does give Quad a nice little advantage because he just stayed mid the whole time. He got a plate, he pushed in the wave. So denies a couple CS, takes a plate, and opens up a decent little gold lead for himself. But remember, the LCS Spring Finals will be taking place in Mullet Arena at ASU from June 13th and 14th. Tickets are going to be available starting next week. Scan the QR code for more info. You can check it out online as well. I'm sure there's tweets about the ticket info.
Yeah.
So
There's
definitely
QR codes
hoping-
and other graphics.
Oh, well, so I read the prompter.
Yep, I know. I did that yesterday as well.
Anchorman.
DSG in the 2v2 on the bot side yet again. Flash out of Masu as Cryogen was looking for damage on the Sajed. And neither AD carry will go down, but that is Summoner spell used. Masu down a Flash.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been ever since that initial kind of overstay from Masu when Cryogen had gone and backed. DSG have really taken control of this bot lane, aided also, again, by that second Scuttle fight, even though they did give up a little bit of plates and prio to Hui in the mid lane for quad. I do think, again, this Caitlyn, when you have a Caitlyn, you really want her to be super forceful. You want her to constantly be pushing down that enemy bot turret, taking over the bot side, rotating around the map, taking down that first ring of turrets. And thus far, this Caitlyn is not in a great position to start doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't even got one play yet.
Yeah. I mean, when we looked at the expectation, bot lane has not gone to that expectation.
And I think it's fair to say that both games, because I think DSG held up reasonably well in a difficult 2v2 last game against this bot lane that we've been really hyping up. You know, a big reason that I predicted FlyQuest to win the series, and obviously they did win game 1, is because of what I thought was going to be a big bot lane 2v2 gap, but it has not been that way so far. And you talked about the advantage of getting some of that gold on Anivia. Obviously, you'd like it on the Ezreal, but Anivia is going for a more expensive build. She's going for the Roa, so is going to be nice to finish that early. And even though it seems a little bit counterintuitive to go for Roa, you know, on a support champion, that gives you enough mana. You're very mana hungry, and also it's actually pretty critical to get additional skill points on Anivia because you want to have enough points in your wall, and you still want to be able to have, you know, points in Q, points in E, while maxing the wall, so you can still do a little bit of damage.
Still
so
pretty
it's
cheap
quite
item
nice.
too. Yeah. Oh, another stun onto Masu right there as the True Shot Barrage will not land. Masu has been able to sidestep those back to back. And now topside, we have a dive onto Castle. He's able to avoid the cage, but knocks back the Maiden of the Mist, not Gatghost. So Griffin's able to pick up an easy kill.
Yeah, and on the bot side, we might see a dive coming out of Kyra.
Kyra's looking for it, and onto Masu. Great Tempered Fate from Cryogen. Drops down the healing underneath. Lands a stun on a low. Cryogen played that beautifully.
That was so well done there from Cryogen. You know, lands the defensive ult, drops a heal pack onto Masu as he's coming out, and nails the binding right out of the immunity. Kryra tried to predict it. That was just so well played, and gets the kill for Masu. He's right back in it.
And we were talking about, okay, how much can he live up to Bucio's Bard, right? Like, it's not Bucio level yet, but some pretty neat plays coming out of Cryogen in the bot lane. Also,
of Bucio.
More importantly, even as DSG are going to be able to push this wave in, right, they aren't able to get that dive off that they might have wanted to get off of taking Drake. I did also think that Griffin did a really good job of recognizing, okay, we're not going to be able to contest this because of how the bot lane 2v2 has gone. Go up top side, get another kill into this Yorick, and hopefully be able to set him up in a side lane to the point where he'll be able to push down some of these turrets.
And they played the dive actually really well. You know, Castle basically is anticipating when they're going to start it, so he's spending a lot of his skills before they picked up turret aggro. And they basically just waited till Castle kited out of turret range to then use their abilities, and at that point, it's a guaranteed kill. You know, for a 1v2 kill in that moment, you need them to pull turret aggro and have that helping you out. So that was really well played up on that top side. And Quad actually going Ludens. A lot of people do just go Blackfire Torch generally, but this is going to be higher burst. There's a lot of squishy members. When you look over at the other side, no one is tanky at all. So I do think there's some merit to it. But even with Castle getting killed twice, neither of the kills went to Gatghost, and Castle has kept up really well in CS. He's done a great job. You know, he's actually still above him in CS.
Yeah, let's get back to that, though. As right now we have an invade. Griffin on a killing spree with his third of the game. Kryra did not expect Cryogen to be there, along with the Pantheon, taking away not one, but now two jungle camps.
Yeah, and nice from Griffin and all, like, FlyQuest to recognize, okay, we have this little window, we can jump onto the Nefiri. As we've already pointed out, this DSG lineup is very squishy outside of, like, the Rise. As we see if they're going to go for more.
I mean, we have the Bard ultimate. He's going to throw it at the turret, and neither champion was hit, so that is go time for Griffin. Damage focus onto Sajed, and FlyQuest have more than enough as the AD carry will fall. Now they can set their sights on Lions if they want it. The Anivia egg is still up. They will get the passive, and they'll get out of there. They might even look for more. Caitlyn Trap is down. The Resurrect is coming straight up, but he's able to get out.
Yeah, I think they're just going to pop the passive and leave it at that. But again, nice pressure from FlyQuest. Try to retake this bot side of the map and kind of use the advantage of Griffin's strength, right? Because we talked about how those kills aren't going on to Gakkos. Where are they going? Well, they've gone on to Griffin, who now has almost a 1.5k gold lead over his jungle opponent and is 3-0-1. So really recognizing what a strong point what a strong point he is on the map right now, and kind of moving as this kind of 3-man unit on the bot side of the map.
I mean, he had a couple of those early kills, right? You know, he killed off Castle twice. He got both those killing blows. He had an early Sundered Sky. And then you're saying, all right, I'm just stronger than you, so we're going to invade. You have the Bard to back you up. Anivia, you know, can be strong situationally, but Anivia is way slower at moving around the map than a Bard is. So, you know, when you're grouped up with this Bard, with this Pantheon, you can be attacking everywhere. And things can be very difficult. You can see they're trying to set up here for Quad, but Quad knows he has no vision on that top side, so he's just playing towards the bot side of that lane. And this is just, you know, good mid lane fundamentals, knowing where the enemy could be approaching from.
Yeah, I believe Anivia is still the slowest.
I think so.
Champ in the
Yeah,
game.
slowest
Oh,
champ.
really?
With raw
I
base
think
move
so,
speed.
yeah.
I did not know that. That's cool. Well, I
She
mean,
moves very slowly. I think as a lot of people are figuring out now that they're trying to play support Anivia.
yeah. The one thing she does do as a support is it always gives you push in lane, especially once you're level 6 with the Catalyst. You're just able to always make sure that these waves are shoving.
You're
but
one of those.
You've been
I am one of
practicing
those.
a lot of
I've been-
support Anivia lately?
I've had
Yes?
to watch some support Anivia lately. I haven't given it a shot yet. I'm a mid laner now, Emily. I'm
are you? I didn't know
exclusively
this.
AP Malphite mid. That's
Yeah.
what I've been doing.
Your AD
That's
carries will
cursed.
also hate you if you're
Yeah,
R-ing every
what?
wave. He's like, yeah,
Well,
brand
you're not
support,
taking the whole
really
wave.
strong. You know, you just AoE one shot
Yeah,
the
no,
wave. You know?
I
you
am
press
that
it.
AD carry, and I do hate you.
Then you press it again. You give your AD carry the farm. You just help him push. You help him. This guy is looking mid lane right now, straight in on the quad. Calmy's got some damage. Just flash out of the way. FlyQuest uses the summoner spell defensively, and Quad's safe for now.
Yeah, as we see Castle kind of getting pushed in a little bit on this top side of the map.
It is always good to get the flash. Oh, they're going to die.
Grand Starfall here, flash from Castle, but it's not going to be enough as Gakkos with the shovel bob.
This is just so tough for Castle. You know, you're already in a losing matchup. You're playing it quite well. I mean, he's up CS still, even with all his jungle attention, but you're in a losing matchup. You're getting non-stop ganked, and your jungler has never been there to protect you. It is getting really, really tough, and once Gakkos has Triforce, the 1v1 is going to be pretty brutal. But, you know, despite the fact that DSG has had some good moves, like they forced Flash twice from Quad, but they never returned until his Flash was back, right? They're not actually finding these moments to really follow up and get kills, and now Gakkos takes that first tower on topside as well, so he's up 1k. It's 1.9k gold lead for Griffin. Sajed has a slight advantage thanks to them playing that 2v2 well early and punishing Masu's mistake, but the game is already out of control again.
Yeah, and there's that Triforce locked in for Yorick. He's going to be able to camp in a side lane and kind of just keep pushing, pretty much unmatched at this point in the game right now. And FlyQuest are going to be able to go in and even it up on Drakes as well, so that stops kind of any rushed Drake stacking that DSG would have liked to get off of the bot side pressure that they were able to get early in this game. And I think, to your point, Isaiah, one thing that FlyQuest has been really good at in this game, even though bot lane did not go as they wanted, is the fact that they were finding those cross-map plays on the top side. They were trying to find advantages. As we see Gakkos.
Yeah, he's just still pushing this wave, and I imagine he'll take that turret, but the top side, we have the Herald started up by Griffin there, and actually Gakkos, he was in a bit of danger. I didn't even see Calmy. They got
I was
me.
going to
The
say, I was like,
observers
is
got
Calmy
me
going to
too.
go in or not?
Yeah.
I was
could
waiting
tell by the
for
way
it.
they were zooming in on
Yeah.
him randomly farming. That I was like,
Yes.
I know
Who's
what you're
waiting
doing.
in there. But as that's happening, the Rift Herald is just going down to Griffin. So once again, good objective focus coming out of FlyQuest. They had that push in top lane. They're able to get the Herald. Calmy does not go for the play onto Gakkos as he pushes out, although Cryogen
actually walking up pretty confidently here as the Bard. You do have a lot of mobility, but he's getting slowed down. Now the Grand Starfall, buying time for Griffin. Kryra jumps over the wall as now Griffin has to throw up the Aegis Assault to absorb some damage. Gakkos has joined up. Flashes from everybody on DSG trying to get away as Gakkos flash follows the Yorick team fighting. He's in there, baby! They get the Anivia egg again. Last last rites gets the kill on the Gatgos.
York team fighting is always super, super funny to me, but now we see, okay, that's why Cryogen felt so confident because the globals we set up in draft, right? Guess who he has in his pocket? It's Griffin, who again is still in a really, really strong position now with Black Cleaver completed.
Yeah, that is ridiculously fast 2 items. He's up 2K again. The jungle gap has been pretty big in this series.
Yeah.
And Cryogen, yeah, you're a bard. Yeah, you're kind of squishy, but he did go for the locket build. He had the locket and the heal available, so he's a lot tankier than you maybe expect. So he knew he could take that damage. He knew people would be there behind him. And he was correct. So able to force out the double flash with his ultimate, and then everyone can kind of just commit to chasing in and getting that kill.
Yeah, and then Quad, I believe he hit like a 2 or 3 champ Spiraling Despair as well to set up the more damage for Gatgos to follow up. So yeah, FlyQuest, they set the trap. They back up Cryogen in their own jungle and make sure that they're able to get more kills. 7-1, 4K gold lead at 18 minutes. And DSG, I mean, we're not having that perfect game conversation, but it feels like it's getting closer now to where we were last game, where FlyQuest are just kind of running away with the lead.
Yeah, and I feel like even with, again, the flashes of really good play we saw on that bot side of the map, for me, it's just that FlyQuest has been playing the overall map better, right? Okay, you didn't get this Caitlyn into a position where you're going to be able to take down turrets as you want. Well, Yorick is able to do that for you. As we see the turret being turned off.
Yeah, nice stun on the Quad, but no kills happening either way.
I will just say also, I mean, FlyQuest is doing a really good job of tracking Kryra, but it also doesn't feel like Kryra has had too much of a plan of how he wants to play out this game. To me, Nefuri is really good in skirmishes where you're constantly fighting and you're really scrappy, you're jumping back and forth over walls, you're invading, you're doing all these little tricks and kind of annoying things. But mostly we've kind of just seen him be the one sitting back, getting invaded on, and when he does go for a play, it feels like FlyQuest are the one that really wanted it. So he's just very much on the back foot and hasn't really been able to get anything going this game.
Yeah, the closest I saw to kind of a classic Nefiri play, and again, I'm thinking of Shun here.
Grand
who played it
Starfall
last
now
night.
onto Sajed. No flash available, and Cryogen blocking the escape path. So instead, he goes in onto Masu. Doesn't land the Mystic Shot. Masu picks up the kill, and now FlyQuest turn onto Lions instead. No passive this time. So 2 kills to FlyQuest.
Really nicely done from FlyQuest. They're just coming in from every angle, and Sajed knows there's no way for him to get away. They are going to try to trade a tower on the bot side, so trying to get a little bit of something back, but FlyQuest are just destroying DSG today, looking really, really good.
Yeah, and the way they're using this Pantheon is so good. The aggressive kind of posturing we're seeing coming out of so many of these setups. Like, okay, you think this might not work? Guess what? Grand Starfall, like on your head to set up that initial kill onto Sajed and then pushing it further.
That ultimate is such a long cooldown. If you don't get value out of it, it feels really bad. I don't think he's had a wasted Grand Starfall yet. Every single time he's pressed it, somebody's died. On the other side is now DSG almost find a pick on a Cryogen. He's able to flash into the magical journey and get out of there, but these are the type of plays that DSG are kind of forced to make, is these little pick attempts because they're so far behind when it comes to the team fight attempts.
That pick attempt might be able to get them set up for this Drake, though, as you kind of see them sending Call Me down to bot lane, try to push that in enough. And FlyQuest are responding by just kind of barreling down mid and having Quad pushing on this top tier 2.
Castle's just going to go straight into Masu. Look for the insect play there, as now the Herald will be the escape path, but the wall blocks him! Lion says, where you going, buddy? Drive between the lines. DSG find a kill.
Nicely done there by Lions. I mean, Castle tries to set it up. It looked like that had just kind of failed. I feel like Masu didn't even need to jump in the Herald.
No,
I think he could have
didn't.
just fought and killed him.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he kind of panicked. Maybe he thought because he flashed, everyone must be coming. I'm in trouble. But he kind of panicked there, hopped into the Herald when, I mean, Castle already used his spells, right? And your Pantheon is right there. If you just trap him out of the stun that Griffin put down, you just kill the Jace and then you walk away after. So here it is one more time. Castle flashes in on him and he kind of just gets nervous and goes straight into it. But yeah, if you're trapping him out of that, I think you probably kill him and then you can try to get out, because he still had his flash and his ghost, right? You would have to use summoners, but this is really nice. And when you do get that charge off, you pop out backwards. So because he was walking to the left and it gets walled off, he's going to pop out back into the rest of the team.
Yeah. Masu looked like a crash test dummy there as we're back to live. Shut down for Kryra. Somehow they caught Cryogen right there as now FlyQuest look for the re-engage. Griffin jumping back into the lines because Gatgos is here and Gatgos is on a rampage. Anivia egg again, as that is just on cooldown, back to back. Quad with the kill that time around. Sajed having to jump all the way back to the inhibitor turret, as this tier 2 is not long for this world.
I mean, look at the experience gaps. Yeah. It's 2 levels there in the jungle, and Gekko's is level 16 already. That is just ridiculous. Sajed there just hit 12, but he was 11 when he was fighting up against this level 16 Yorick, which is really, really tough. And the top side of the map here for FlyQuest just running the show. I think this is shaping up for another player of the game for Griffin. To me, he has just been fantastic across both of these games, really getting the better of Kryra, working well with his team to just constantly create these advantages and then slam them home, just pushing the pace nonstop.
Jungle propaganda, I still think Cryogen should get some love.
Cryogen has played really well.
How is that jungle propaganda?
Yeah, what?
I don't know.
The Griffin's playing well as jungle propaganda.
He has more KP.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, but giving it to him twice. Oh my goodness, that's.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah.
You're one of the. I voted for this guy last time.
That's not how it works.
No.
If someone's just a good player, you vote for them.
Yeah,
fair.
I want to hear this voter fatigue out of you week 2.
Look,
what
I'm
the
just
heck?
saying support's never.
You're one of these people who doesn't want to vote for Jokic for MVP.
Yeah,
You know? You're
or
just
like, you know what? Maybe Connor
voted for him
McDavid
last
isn't
year.
the best player in the league. I don't know.
All I know about Jokic is
Baker
that he betrayed his
again.
Yeah,
team.
what?
Yeah. If any, yeah, you know, I think we should
We're on
actually
to you, Kango.
nerf the damage of people that won Worlds the last year. You know, they should go into finals with a 10% decrease across the board. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Fair.
What?
It's a bold proposition.
I don't even want to know how we're going to
Let's get this guy a mic, and we'll have him on the hot takes. For
I got thoughts. I got thoughts for how to make
Honestly, he did
Not
put
good ones, but
Shopify
you do have them.
Yeah.
They count. They do count as my brain working. As Cryogen gets stunned up yet again. Tempered Fate flashed by Call Me, not by Lyon. So the rest of FlyQuest once again will punish the eggless Anivia. Now Sajed caught on the wall. Cryogen with another Cosmic Binding. Double kill to Griffin. Quad with another. Call Me trying to take the roam more bow, but it's canceled. FlyQuest get 4 in the mid lane.
I will say, as much as we joke about teamfighting Yorick, and as much as I say if people want to watch a teamfighting Yorick, go watch actually Flandra in the LPL.
Yeah.
Gekko's in these teamfights is actually really fun to watch with the way he's placing his cages. But yeah, tries to flash out of that, and Lyon isn't able to get out of the Bard ult. And then just watch Gekko's on the side, because then Sajed gets stunned up there, and Gekko's is still pushing Kryra off, gets Call Me in the little ring.
Yep. Got him in the cage, and you can bind off of that. So just setting it up well. Cryogen having fun, and why not? I mean, they are crushing this series. This one looks pretty much all locked up. They're up about 10K.
Go,
Back-to-back
Cryogen,
Cosmic
go!
Bindings on the little dogs that
When the Bard is just slapping you up like that, and you're losing the 1v1 as a jungler,
that does not feel good.
that is the walk of shame when you've got to walk away from that 1v1.
Vandal Pipe's OP, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how are we rating Cryogen's Bard performance now compared to
On a scale of
Is
me
he
to
baby
Busio?
Yeah.
He's much closer to Busio than he is to me. We'll give him that scale.
What about the Kangas to Busio?
Kangas to Busio.
Because now we get to know if Azale thinks I'm better than him at Bard, which is my most played champion of all time.
Is it?
Is it? I thought Pantheon was.
it's
Pantheon's number 2.
I don't know. My
Okay.
Bard's not bad. If we're talking for, like, you know, amongst us, you know, the mere
My Bard,
mortals.
I'll let you
Mere
know my
mortals.
Bard is terrible.
Yeah.
So I am last.
I also will add as Temper Fate will land here, so the Chain CC follows up, and that's another play from FlyQuest. They're going to dive onto the turret as well. Griffin gets another one. FlyQuest making burnt toast out of Disguise in the bot lane. Another ult on the castle as they go over the wall. Magical Journey. That is a killing spree for Masu. 3 dead on Disguise, and FlyQuest look to close this game out.
Really great showing from FlyQuest, kind of going through. Griffin has gone through the hyperbolic jungle time chamber, going up against all of these top teams, and really took it to Kryra and DSG today.
6-0 and 10 as he'll go into the GA. Revives back to another assist. FlyQuest make quick work of DSG with a 2-0 win.